I got a message by a premium member. I actually get messages relatively often in premium. I one-on-one communicate with all of the members, and I want to talk about his message because this message very much applies to a lot of people that start off with crypto. They try to find their way, how much risk to potentially expose themselves to, how to act after certain price movements have occurred. And I think this is a nice topic to, in general, talk about here in YouTube. Now, I will talk about this completely anonymous, right? So I'm not exposing anybody. But what I usually do is I simply just give a voice message to those questions. So you can ask me any questions in case you're part of premium as well. You can ask me any questions, and I usually reply within 24 to 48 hours. But let's start off with this message. So, hey Gerhard, I do not know what to do anymore. I FOMO'd back into the market with a good amount of money after selling at a loss due to emotions. And I don't know if I should start selling off now to eat the losses. The market looks terrible and I'm just so scared. So this is very interesting because it shows some kind of self-reflection, right? There seems to be some kind of lag, as in when the price rises, you want to get back in, you want to make the gains. When the price falls, you get scared and have this loss aversion and you rather try to cut your losses. Now here's the problem with crypto. Crypto in the short term is very much counter-cyclical. So on the 1 or 2 hour chart, we might see those massive spikes, both to the upside and to the downside, and a very quick reversal. So we do see a lot of breakouts on the short term. On the longer term though, right, once we talk about many days, many weeks, we tend to go in cycles, we tend to go in trends. In other words, now we are in a bull market, right? So we tend to see, in general, rising prices. That being said, if at one day we suddenly shoot up by 5%, there is a good chance that we also correct a little bit. So on the short term, it makes sense to be somewhat contrarian. On the medium term, it makes sense to simply follow the trend. And so that's the problem. When you're too emotional about things and you don't detach yourself too much from the money that you're speculating with, then in the end, you might go pro-trend on the short time frame. And you might make the exact opposite, right? You might be selling when you're just dipping down. You might take profit too early when you're rising, or even worse, FOMO in. What's good about this message, or let's say the beginning of this message, because this continues, what's good about it is that this member was very much aware that this was an emotionally driven decision, that the emotions in the end dictated the actions. What I think is super, super important in crypto is to follow systems, is to follow a strategy, and ideally a strategy that is quantified. So for example, what I like to use is moving averages. The best moving average for Bitcoin, for example, is the 120-day moving average, simple moving average. So I use that moving average to gauge, in general, are we currently rather trending upwards or trending downwards. Or another quantifiable approach would be to look at other successful traders, look at their win rate, look how often they win, and potentially copy trade them, basically taking over that win rate for yourself. You want to have some kind of quantifiable approach. You want to have some kind of system that detaches from the emotions.
This needs to go to 1 million, or March buyers now will make millions. This is how you get the clicks on YouTube, but this is not how you beat the market. To beat the market in crypto, you need to be better informed than the rest. You need to be better skilled than the rest. You need to do better blockchain analytics. You need to track other people's wallets and know what is the smart money doing. It's the boring educational content that forms skill that doesn't perform so well on YouTube though. That's why I created the premium membership. Feel free to check it out. We are tracking influencer wallets to find out what they are buying before promoting this on YouTube. We've got a lot of tutorials to help with on-chain analytics, to help with wallet discovery. And of course, there are also plenty of chats where we help each other, and also one-on-one conversations with me. So I'm messaging every premium member one-on-one directly. Once you're joining, you will get a message from me and you have the opportunity to directly pick my brain. Feel free to check it out, thebitcointrader.com, link is down below.
Now, why did those emotions start in the first place? Let's continue with this message and then I will come back to that. I don't know when Bitcoin will start to recover and my positions won't liquidate even in a 30% plus drop. I guess I'll hold onto my positions and wait for a recovery already in, and I can't try to time the market. I can't keep selling the bottom and buying the top at this point. It's gonna drive me mad. I've let my emotions override me for too long. Now, why do those emotions start? I believe it's simply over allocation and less of experience. When you start off with any kind of trading, but especially crypto trading that's very volatile, when you start off with trading, you begin to see your wealth fluctuate in real time, right? Prices go up and down, and they can go up and down very violently. Now, if you've only got $100 in crypto, then this doesn't matter, right? Then $100 turns into $90, turns into $110. It doesn't matter. But if you've got, say, $100,000 worth of crypto, and this is most of your wealth, then the ups and downs of several $1,000 might impact you. So what's the best way to approach this? First of all, the longer you trade, the more used to get to those swings, right? When you just start off, then just a few dollars worth of swings might already keep you awake at night. If you have done this for a while, then you know sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. It's fine. In the end, things will play out if the long-term strategy is okay. And so what I think is a good approach here is to adjust your risk exposure, not just relative to your income and not just relative to your other assets you hold. This is in general a good thing, right? You want to have a diversified portfolio of different asset classes that are lowly correlated. So you want to have a bit of property, you want to have a bit of crypto, a bit of stocks, a bit of gold potentially. You want to be somewhat diversified. But besides that, you might also want to gradually increase your crypto exposure because crypto is so volatile, and adjust this to your experience. So the more you know about it as a class, the more you want to be exposed to it, especially if you enter idiosyncratic risk. If you just buy Bitcoin, that's not necessarily as bad. But if you start trading altcoins, then the skill component becomes more and more important, right? Trading altcoins is a direct player versus player game. And the more skill you have, the more likely you are to win in the long term. But if you're not among the few winners, then you're very likely going to lose as well. And if you're over-allocated to altcoins without the experience, without the skill, then this is a recipe for disaster. Then all the worries are very much justified. And so the simple answer here is to take it slowly, to simply not look at the ups and downs too much. If you do have to look at them, then at least not to freak out. And the longer you play the game, the less this will actually emotionally impact you. Start off with a small allocation and then over time build up to this so that in the end you don't have to check your phone several times per hour just to make sure you didn't suddenly lose something. Because in the end, what will that really help? If you've got your system, you're simply following that system, the short-term price movements shouldn't have any impact. It's simply just noise. It's simply just like watching the news, distracting you from things. It doesn't really help you become productive in any way. So let's continue with the message. I've decided to sell off losses. I can't take it anymore. I disregarded your opinion on the market due to emotions and took punishment heavily. This is has to be seen in context. So I published a premium video before he sent me this, a few days before that I sold some Bitcoin, and he obviously or apparently didn't sell and took the punishment. But I'm not really sure if that's actually the right learning from this. You don't want to just copy trade me or copy trade anybody else. It does make sense to look at what the winners tend to do. It does make sense to follow successful traders, but it's not necessarily always the best to just blindly follow, right? You do want to have your own opinion on things as well. You do want to make your own due diligence, and you, of course, also want to have a proper portfolio balance. The main reason why I sold some Bitcoin at the time was simply because I was over-allocated. I dollar cost averaged in so heavily at 16K. I bought a lot of Bitcoin every single month. Then Bitcoin went up a lot. And then simply as a fraction of all of my wealth, crypto became really, really large and I had to take some chips off the table. This is why I exited, not necessarily because I was worried about what will happen to Bitcoin in the next 3 or 4 days. This is very different. So this is the message in this video, right? Try not to be over-allocated. Don't worry about the price movements. If you're currently worrying about the price movements, reduce your allocation. Learn more. Get more safe in the decisions that you're making. And the more you're learning, the more you in the end feel also comfortable with the bets you're taking and the less insecure you will be with the ups and downs of the market. If it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish this regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you next time. Cheers.